Hey everyone, so today it's time to tackle another window project on the 79. I wanted to upgrade the pedal sets and footboards for a while. I'm getting a little bit of play on the brake pedal. It's not really aligned with the accelerator pedal, so I was looking into how can I make those adjustments. And of course that led me down the Porsche slippery slope into the Rennline products. So Rennline makes an adjustable accelerator pedal that sort of piqued my interest, and then I started looking at the whole range of products that they do. And you may remember that the last video that I posted was the installation of their front strut brace. So when I ordered that, I also ordered the pedal sets. So what we're going to be installing today, hopefully, is the adjustable front pedal, some new pedals for the accelerator and for the clutch, some Rennline pedal boards, and also a dead pedal, which I'm looking forward to because my left foot's got nowhere to really go. So I'm hoping that this provides a little bit of comfort. I'm not too sure if I'm going to get to that today, but we'll see. Now, when you order from Rennline, there are a couple of different options on the foot pedals themselves. So the two options that you have is you have perforated or those with the rubber grips. The main difference being is that there are either holes where these little rubber grips are, or there are these little rubber bungs which you can actually pull out. I asked a bunch of questions on the forums, and most of the guys there, as well as Josh at Rennline, who's super helpful, was saying that the rubber pedals are, although they don't quite look the same, you get a lot more traction, a lot more grip with those. A couple of the guys have complained that when they've been out and about and they got some wet shoes coming in after a bit of rain, that their feet are sliding off the perforated ones. So I actually switched my order and went for the rubber pedals. So those are the choices that I went with there. The other thing that I also ordered was the track mats. I'm not 100% sure whether I want them in the car. I wasn't too sure how they might look or how they might fix to the base of the car, so we're going to check them out as well. So first up, let's get into the car, take a look at the original factory pedals and the floor mats, and then get all that junk out, and we'll start installing these. Alright, so the first little challenge is original mat. Can't come over the accelerator pedal, so it looks like had a little feel around the back there. There doesn't seem like there's sort of like a connecting bolt that I can easily unscrew. So it's coming out anyway, right? So I'm going to unbolt these two bolts that hold the accelerator pedal into the base of the car, and then we'll get that bit out. Okay, so just for reference, those bolts needed a 10mm socket wrench, and interestingly enough, this thing just popped straight off. So I'm guessing I just couldn't feel it in there, but it just sits in here in a little ball socket. So that was much easier than I thought. Okay, before we go any further, I want to talk about the two pedals here. So the first is that this is the pedal that Rennline give to you. It wasn't explained at all on the website, and I don't know what I was thinking about how it would be mounted. I assumed that there would probably be some sort of like a bracket on the back. This would come off, we bolt this on, but that is not the case at all. So what we're going to do is we are going to remove this rubber piece, which reveals sort of the bare metal that's welded down into this shop. And then this is going to go on here, but it's actually going to get screwed in. So we're going to have to drill a hole. We're going to remove one of these rubber, I think, two or three of these rubber grips. They pop straight out. They reveal a hole through the pedal, and then we're gonna drill a hole through here, and then we're gonna bolt the two together. So these things, they just the other one came up quite easily. These just pull straight off. So they're just like rubber shoes. So that's just something to be aware of as well. Next up, I'm going to take off the pedal board and see what we're looking at under there. Alright, I've got to show you this. So this bolt needs to come off to take off the footboard, right? Next to it, some PO has sheared this bolt off, not taken out the old bolt, forced a new bolt next to it with a washer,
put the new bolt in so hard that the washer's bent. So I'm using a, what is this guy? 7mm to try to ease this out, but it will not budge. So I'm just going to take it slow, see if I can get this off. My big concern is that with the new pedal boards that Rennline send to you, you need to use this existing hardware on the driver's side. On the passenger side, you can buy a new piece of hardware, which I've done, but here we need to repurpose this. So I need to be as careful as hell to get this out, because I need to use it again, and if not, then this project will go on a hiatus for a little bit. So let's keep going. Okay, so having taken out that screw, hopefully this just lifts straight out. Before we go any further, let's take a look at the difference between these two boards. You've got the original on the left and the Rennline on the right. It's going to look sweet, so let's get it in. Okay, so you're going to remember the concern that I had about this guy, that sheared bolt issue that we had. Fortunately, it looks like we're lined up pretty nicely, so I'm really hoping it's a simple case of me just screwing that bad boy back in and we're all going to be okay. But it looks pretty sweet. Okay, so next up, I figured the best thing to do would be to install the accelerator pedal first. It seems to be the most complicated. So these are all the components that you get for it. You've got your foot plates. These are the adjustable plates. These all bolt into here using these brackets. This is the ball joint that screws into the original factory ball joint on the accelerator itself inside the car. And this is the bracket that's going to attach the accelerator pedal into the floorboards of the car. So we'll get this put together now. Okay, there we have it. That's the pedal assembly. So one thing to note, if you're doing it on a 911, this is all in the Rennline instructions. This piece has to be facing outwards. On other models, it will be facing inwards. But yeah, basically, this went together super easy. These plates, silver plates, are fully adjustable, so they can come out. They're in their narrowest position right now, which is wider than the original foot plate as it is. So I've decided to start here, but I can bring these out. So I'm just going to see how they feel. I'm guessing this will come out a little bit. And then the other thing is that these are also adjustable. And I noticed as well they can be angled too. So I'm not too sure whether or not that would happen, but for now I've put them at their fullest extension, not angled, so they're completely linear, straight the way down. And then this guy is in here. This is going to attach to the accelerator shaft inside the car. So let's get this all mounted. Okay, so next up we need to take this guy off and we need to mount this onto the new pedal. So this just pops off. And then we want to unscrew this. Okay, this bit we're getting rid of. The new pedal, we're going to mount this on here. Okay, now you'll notice that the Rennline bar is a lot longer than the original bar. The idea being is that you can cut this down to length. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do this. I'm going to install this as it is right now, and we'll make all the adjustments from that point. Okay, so that's the accelerator pedal, and it's already in a much better position actually than the original. So I'm interested to see how that feels in driving it. I'm going to get the other two pedals on now, which requires a bit of drilling, so this could take a little bit of time, but we'll see how it goes. So what we need to do is we need to take out a couple of these rubber bungs or rubber grips and decide where we're going to mount them. to these pedals. Now, mine are welded, so I need to be careful where I choose to mount the pedals to make sure that wherever I elect the bolts to go don't interfere with the welds of the pedal to this guy. So I'm just sort of feeling around the back here, and this is nice and clear, so I'm going to remove this one. And then the other point, I think I'm going to go for, because I want these to be as far apart as possible. I don't want it to be too near the top, because I want to have a nice amount of metal to screw into. So this one feels good as well, so I'm just going to pop this guy out. Okay, so those are going to be my 2 points. I'm going to mark them and drill them, and then I'm going to do the same over here. I'm going to focus on this one first though and get that in, because I think, yeah, see, this point's going to work well for this pedal, but I'm going to have to swap sides. In fact, that may not even work at all either, so I may need to think about where I want this one to go. Maybe this guy. We'll have to see. Let's get this one done first. This feels good. I'm a little upset that this corner is showing, actually, but mind you, there's an edge down here as well. They could do with just being the tiniest little bit bigger, unless I've put them in wrong or not lined them up properly. But it's not bad. Okay, and to finish up this side, of course, I put in the track mat right up against that, and that finishes up the driver's side install. Alright, so we left things off last time after installing the Renline floorboard. I had a load of travel in my clutch, and at its lowest point it was banging against the floorboard itself. So I took a look at the factory board that we removed and replaced with the Renline stuff, and it has this metal plate in here, so I hunted around a little bit. I went over to Pelican and I found a replacement part for this, which is the clutch stop plate. So this gets bolted into the Renline floorboard, and it prevents the clutch from traveling too far down. Now, the one that I had on my original piece is bashed up and missing a little rubber piece here. You can buy the rubber piece as a replacement, but by the time you've done that and then shipped it to where I am in Canada, for a few extra bucks, I could have got a brand new piece. So I've got this new clutch stop plate that is going to get bolted into the Renline floorboards. Now, the floorboards here have the cutouts to mount the stop plate in place. They just don't mention that in the instructions. So you'll need to take the original stop plate off the original floorboard if you're doing the replacement, and make sure that it's added here. Once this is screwed in, you've then got some play and up and down, which will determine how far the clutch can be pushed in or out. So you can adjust that a little bit here as well. So the one thing is that when you order this from Pelican, that was the only place I looked. I don't know if there's another supplier. It comes with this. It doesn't come with the mounting screws and washers. So make sure that you keep hold of those. If you don't have them, then you're just going to need to put some Allen bolts and a little washer in place here. As I couldn't source these. Fortunately, I've got them so I can pull them off the original piece and put them back in the car. So I'm going to put this all together now and see if that helps to solve the problem of that clutch traveling too far. Okay, always an issue. So I don't know if you can see this, but the original washer for the original piece that bolted to the original plate is beveled. It's got a spacer sort of built into it here. So when you put this all together, the Renline plate is much thinner than the original wooden plate. So as you put this through, this washer is a fraction of a millimeter, but it means that it just doesn't grip when this plate is then added on. So I didn't have any other washers lying around. I kind of want it to be the same piece. So what I've ended up doing, which is a bit of a hack job, is I've added some 3M sticky pads around here. They're about a millimeter thick, and my hope is that once this all sticks together, it's going to create enough tension that will hold that securely in place. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, yeah, this actually worked out really great. So the 3M pads created enough tension in the bolts for it to hold really securely together. It feels awesome. And the other cool thing was they're double-sided, so it meant that I could actually position the plate where I wanted to, kind of stick it in place. It held together really well, and then I just threw the bolts on. So that's all put back together. I'm going to get it in the car and see if that solves the travel issue that we had with the clutch. All right, we're still getting a little bit of travel not on the clutch, but as the clutch was hitting the clutch stop, the Renline plate was just banging against the hinges. So I want to show you there's a couple of hinges up at the top that I think they bend in and they secure the piece in place. Okay, so I'm under the steering column right now. I'm really hoping you guys can see these two clasps. So this is what holds the Renline plate to the top, or it secures it in place at the top of the plate. So these two little hinges just need to be sort of levered down, and then they hold that plate in place. And then once that's done, there's no more play. So I can give this like a good tap, and I'm not hearing any of that banging anymore. Okay, so that wraps up another great install. I'm really happy with the Renline products. Not affiliated with them, I just did sort of a bulk purchase of a bunch of stuff that I wanted to put in, so it's just sort of coincidental that the videos I've done so far are about those products. The floorboard pedals are fully adjustable, which I love. I'm going to really enjoy getting to grips with those and figuring out exactly what setup works best for me. They feel much lighter, much easier than stock, and they look great as well, so I'm super happy with that. Next video I'm going to be installing the dead pedal. I feel like I'm going to do that as a separate day because I've got to drill through the wheel arch and figure out exactly how to get that in place. So I'm going to do that as a separate thing, but we got a bunch of other stuff coming up as well, so give us a follow. My full beams are broken, so I've got to replace the switch in the steering column, and I'm also, when I do that, I'm going to install a relay that will prevent that issue from happening again. We've got those coming up. We're replacing the rear quarter windows. We're going to be putting some louvered windows in, and I'm also going to be taking off the big flag mirrors and putting something a little bit more streamlined in. So we've got all this coming up. Love if you gave us a bit of a follow. As always, pop any comments below. I'm new to this, I'm trying to figure it out. So any advice, any tips, anything like that you want to share, I would love to hear them. And thanks for watching this one.